Okay, so if you're a startup founder, you already know that raising capital is, well, the ultimate challenge. It's that make or break moment, right? It decides whether your brilliant idea actually takes flight or just stays on the whiteboard. And as we all know, that path is absolutely filled with pitfalls, right? It's the question that just haunts every single entrepreneur. Is it the product? Is it the team? Maybe the timing was just off. And while all of those things definitely matter, the data points to one overwhelming, kind of brutal reason. And you know what? It's often that simple. They're just undercapitalized. They've got the vision, they've got the drive, they have the innovation, but the runway just ends before the plane can take off. And honestly, it's one of the most common and frankly heartbreaking reasons startups don't make it. So that's where something like equity crowdfunding comes in. It's been a total game changer, right? It's democratized investing and given founders a direct line to the capital they need. Seems like the perfect answer. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. There's this fundamental misunderstanding about how it actually works that can doom a campaign before it even starts. And that's the perfect place to bring in our expert, Jason Fishman. He's helped over 500 companies raise 9 figures in capital, and his core insight is this. Get this. Raising money isn't a finance problem at all. It's a marketing problem. And that single shift in your mindset, that's the key to unlocking the whole thing. Okay, so how do you actually do that? How do you turn fundraising into a marketing exercise? Well, expert Jason Fishman laid out a proven 8-point plan. He calls it the algorithmic roadmap, and it's a strategic framework for turning a fundraising goal into a process you can actually predict. And the idea behind this whole plan is actually pretty simple. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The most successful campaigns out there, they leave a trail of breadcrumbs, the strategies, the messaging, the channels that just plain work. The whole goal is to find those clues and build on them. So the plan kicks off with a real deep dive into the fundamentals. You start by analyzing the market and, crucially, auditing your competitors. Then you define exactly who your ideal investors are, map out how you're going to reach them, and only then do you start building out financial projections. See? It's all about strategy before tactics. Okay, but let's pause on that one point for a second, the competitor marketing audit. Because this is a really important distinction. This is not just about looking at who sells a similar product. This is about understanding the entire investment landscape, what other deals are out there fighting for your potential investors' attention and their dollars. And Jason he's crystal clear about this. This step is completely non-negotiable. It gives you a real-world, in-the-trenches understanding of what messages are actually working right now. So you're not just, throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. All right, so once you have that solid strategy, this is where fundraising stops feeling like a guessing game and starts looking more like a math problem, a predictable, solvable math problem. So let's crack that code. And really, it all boils down to one simple thing: getting enough of the right eyeballs on your offering page. Everything that follows is just a simple conversion funnel. First things first, you need a target. Your goal is to drive 50,000 qualified visits to your campaign page. That's the top of your funnel. Okay, from there, let's be realistic. We'll use a pretty standard, even conservative conversion rate. Not every person who visits is going to invest, so let's just benchmark for 2%. And the math here is pretty straightforward. 50,000 visitors converting at 2% gets you 1,000 new investors. You're literally turning clicks into a community of backers. So the next question is, how much does each of those people actually invest? Well, based on recent data for these kinds of raises, a pretty solid average is about $1,500. And boom, this is where it all clicks into place. 1,000 investors, each putting in an average of $1,500, gets you to $1.5 million. And just like that, a 7-figure raise suddenly isn't a pipe dream. It's the predictable outcome of a plan you can actually measure. Okay, but what if your sights are set even higher? A lot of founders want to bring in investors from all over the world. But taking a campaign global, well, that brings a whole new set of complex challenges you have to be ready for. So Jason points to 3 major hurdles you've got to watch out for. First, compliance and regulation delays. They can be a nightmare. Second, if you target the wrong people, they'll fail the mandatory know your client checks. And this third one is maybe the trickiest. Your messaging just falls flat because it doesn't connect with the local culture. And this right here really shows you why that last point is so important. You can't just assume a message that kills it in the US is going to work everywhere else. The media narrative, the economic mood, the cultural context, all of it shapes how your opportunity is perceived. You absolutely have to have your finger on the pulse of the local conversation in every single market you target.
All right, let's get into what might be one of the biggest, most costly mistakes a founder can make. Just totally misunderstanding who is actually responsible for the success of your campaign.
I want to be super clear about this. The crowdfunding platform is not going to raise the money for you. Believing that just getting listed is enough is a recipe for failure. Think of their audience as a potential bonus, not your core strategy. So the roles here have to be crystal clear. Your job is to be the engine. You drive the traffic, you create the compelling content. The platform, they're the vehicle. They facilitate the transaction securely, and they'll help promote campaigns that are already showing serious momentum. You have to be the one providing the fuel. So if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. Successful crowdfunding isn't like buying a lottery ticket. It's the direct result of a founder who owns their marketing, builds a scalable system, and executes a plan that's built on data, not just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. And that really leaves us with one final, pretty important question for you to think about. Building a great product is, of course, essential. But have you also built a machine that can tell its story and attract capital? Because at the end of the day, is your business just a great product, or is it a full-blown marketing machine, ready to go out and attract the investment it deserves?